If you're not using languages in your game, you're wasting one of the coolest built-in storytelling tools. So today, I'm going to show you how to build one in 5 minutes. Because if you're running a D&D game and your players meet an ancient elf, a cryptic dragon, or an entire civilization that's just been kind of lost to time and history, and they just all speak common, that is a major wasted opportunity. Now, most people think making a language is tedious and overwhelmingly difficult, but trust me, it's not. You don't need to be Tolkien and you don't need a linguistics degree. In fact, languages are one of the easiest ways to make your world feel alive. So instead of Elvish and Celestial being just names on a page, let's try and make them something that actually sound unique and authentic. Today, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step system that makes it easy to create fantasy languages for your D&D game in just minutes. And stick with me to the end for an example of an Infernal language I created for some of my campaigns. 5 minutes, one language, and a game-changing experience for your world. Let's dive in. With the intent of keeping all of this very simple and easy, we are going to come up with the easiest way to start. And the easiest way to start building languages is to borrow from what already exists. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Pick a real-world language that captures the vibes that you want for your in-game culture. Basically, find some real-world languages that you like and give them the vibe check. If you're creating a warlike, brutal culture, then maybe try something harsh and or guttural, like maybe Mongolian or German. If you want something mystical and ancient, try something like Hindi, Sanskrit, Arabic. If you want something very fluid, maybe a touch of poetics. Something like French or Italian could work for those high society type cultures in your fantasy world.
Haha! Je suis poétique because I am French.
As a side note, you can also borrow structures from different languages. Some languages put verbs at the end of their sentences. Some use gendered nouns. Some don't even have past or future tenses. We'll touch a little bit more on this in step 4, but for now, focus on the sounds and vibes you want for your language. Building toward the example of Infernal, I decided to start with a sort of combination of Hebrew and Arabic for some of the sounds because I want it to sound ancient and powerful. Now, let's start shaping this into something unique. I'm going to give you your first bit of homework for language creation. Go ahead and look up something called the phonetic inventory of the language you've chosen. There's no need to be scared. A phonetic inventory is just a list of all the different sounds that exist within a given language. Well guys, editor Josh has just realized that it is phonemic and not phonetic. I was getting a couple of words mixed up there, so don't look up the phonetic inventory, look up the phonemic inventory. There is where you will find the stuff you need. Okay, back to it. But in order to decipher some of it, you may need to look into IPA a little bit. No, not that IPA. Gross. The International Phonetic Alphabet. This will teach you how to pronounce things that may not exist in your native language. Now, pick out the sounds in your chosen language that are different from your native language. These sounds will be what make your new language feel distinct. A great example for my English-speaking audience, and one of my favorite examples, is the h sound in Arabic. It doesn't exist in English, it's deep and raspy, and to a lot of us, English-speaking Americans at least, it sounds very exotic and interesting. Wait, what is this? I'm being told it does exist in our language now. Oh, cueing the clip.
You gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing, you get me?
At this step, you don't need to get technical at all. Just make a list of all the sounds you like and use them consistently. This already makes your language unique with almost no effort, even if it's just a whole bunch of gibberish. Now that you've followed the first 2 steps, I'm going to give you the easiest shortcut to taking those things and making them a full language. Just use a simple cipher. This means just taking words from your native language and giving them a one-for-one translation into your new language. No new grammar, no confusing syntax, just literally, hi, how are you doing today becomes Riel Halivayadol Marisha. Or you could take this even more simple and swap out only letters and sounds. For example, if you decided your language has no R's, replace all R's with an L. Instead of ranger, you'd have langel. Instead of fire, you'd have fila. Maybe the TH also becomes an M sound, and the S becomes a TH sound. So the ranger sets the fire becomes Malangal Thatith Mafila. These, like, crazy small changes make the language instantly feel unique with almost no effort, and absolutely without needing a complex grammar system. So at this point, you already have a complete functional fantasy language. But if you want to take it a little bit further, step 4 will bring it to life with culture and depth. If you're still with me, you want to make this language feel truly real and immersive. You want it to be something that bards can give me inspiration with by hitting the like button and subscribing to hear the trumpet every time the bard comes to the stage. On the real, if you want your language to feel immersive and authentic, give it structure. Give it a grammar. I know it may sound tedious at first, but this is how you create something that feels like a real language. Was I the kid who loved grammar class? Yes. Did I correct everyone's poor grammar? Yes. Did I also spend a great deal of my free time reading dictionaries and diagramming sentences? Also yes, but this still holds, because not all languages function the same way. So spice it up, have fun, be creative with it. Try using declensions or conjugations, or maybe you like particles, or agglutinative structures. Maybe you like gluing words together. Maybe instead of adding something, you want to take something away from your native language, like verb tenses, and come up with a different, unique way to express those things. The point here is use grammar that's different from your own language. You don't have to go crazy technical and deep dive into syntax and morphology. Just tweak how sentences are formed. Maybe your language puts verbs at the end of sentences. Maybe it doesn't matter where the verbs are because of the endings that tell you what's going on. Maybe your language has no pronouns, or doesn't have a past tense because they only look to the future. These tiny shifts can make languages feel real without needing to develop a full dictionary. Heck, go back to the last video and just plug in what you've got so far to the greetings and goodbyes section. Here's where we'll get back to that second language that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, the one for structure. If you don't want to create entire grammar systems for yourself, it's totally okay to pick a second language that already fits what you need from a grammar system and just plug its grammar into the existing sounds and words from your other language. When I built the Infernal language for my games, again, I used Hebrew and Arabic for the sounds because they have this kind of commanding ancient vibe. But I structured it using Latin grammar because Latin is strict, rules-based, and perfect for a language that devils would use. To show you how all this comes together, here's a sample from that language. Listen to how the sounds work together, and I'll throw it up on the screen so you can kind of see how the structure works, and how those two things together make something totally unique and perfectly fit to my games. Hillel, Shalorchish vira alon, Cholush refeach, Vitchashar, Nimile Chilom uluf, Nimila Chaluch Yereif. See how just gathering sounds from other languages to form words and interjecting a few simple grammar rules have given us something entirely new and something that feels authentic and real? And that's all using the system I just gave you in 5 minutes. Roughly. Now you have everything you need to create a functional, immersive language for your D&D world. Even just a few words or phrases can make your setting feel more alive. But, unfortunately, language is just one piece of the puzzle. If you want to truly master storytelling in your D&D world, you need to understand the basics of plot, how it's structured, and how to utilize it in your games. The plot you choose shapes everything, from your villains to your quests to the overall character arcs. So if you want to take storytelling in your game to the next level, check out my breakdown of the 7 basic plots in D&D. You can start with overcoming the monster here, or follow this link to the playlist as a whole. Trust me, it will change the way you build your stories. Till next time, guys, gotta roll.